Hello, I'm Evan Mitchell, music director of the Kingston Symphony Orchestra, and for the week of February the 29th, here's what's on. So we're into the back half of our Masterworks series for this season, and I like to save some of the most killer concerts for the very end so we can sort of end things with a bang. And getting into our fifth Masterworks concert of this season, this is going to be no exception to that philosophy because we have a concert which features some pretty special soloists, and I say they're pretty special because all of the soloists for this particular concert, yes, we're going to be performing several selections from some spectacular concertos. All of our guest artists are members of your Kingston Symphony Orchestra. So we're turning the spotlight inward towards our amazing orchestra and all the talent that lies therein. So this incredible expose of homegrown talent takes place one afternoon only, and that is Sunday, March the 6th at 2:30 p.m. at the Isabel Bader Center for the Performing Arts. So this is a pretty special concert, and I, for one, am really looking forward to hearing all of the wonderful soloists from your Kingston Symphony Orchestra perform their concertos. I am actually going to be joining their ranks. This particular concert is conducted by none other than Conductor Emeritus Glenn Fast, my wonderful predecessor. He's conducting the show, and I am going to be featured as a soloist, gulp, playing Rosaro's Marimba Concerto alongside my colleagues from the Kingston Symphony Orchestra. And I'm delighted to be joined in the spotlight with Gordon and Linda Craig, our wonderful clarinet section. They're going to be performing Mendelssohn's Concertstück No. 2 for two clarinets and orchestra. Ben Glossop, our principal bassoonist, is going to be performing the middle movement of Jacques Etu's Bassoon Concerto, a glorious Canadian composer and wonderful piece of music. And Wolf Torman, our principal cellist, is going to be performing the first movement of Luigi Boccherini's incredible cello concerto. And that's how this concert starts, in fact, with Boccherini's cello concerto and Wolf Torman in the driver's seat. Now, one of the things that I find most fascinating about the Boccherini cello concerto is that it was really a springboard, in my opinion, for cello concertos to come. We'd had some wonderful works for solo cello and orchestra written by Haydn, of course, but then the cello concerto concept was something that really wasn't experimented with, at least on a successful scale, for quite some time, until we get to Luigi Boccherini, who in 1870 wrote this beautiful B-flat major concerto. And then within the span of the next 25 years, we have both of Victor Herbert's hugely influential cello concerti, and then we have Tchaikovsky's extraordinary Variations on a Rococo Theme, one of my very favorite pieces, and then Dvorak's towering cello concerto in 1895. So the Boccherini B-flat major cello concerto really kicked off a flurry of activity of really incredible music written for the cello in the spotlight. Here's a little taste of the opening movement of Boccherini's cello concerto in B-flat. Now, the next pair of pieces we're going to be performing will feature our wind section, which is absolutely fabulous. It's something that I like to do whenever possible. First off, we have the Mendelssohn Concertstück No. 2 for two clarinets. This was a piece, believe it or not, that was written in exchange for a hearty meal complete with a course of dumplings and strudel. And for real, that's no joke. That was what the cost of the commission was. Mendelssohn was very good friends with two members of a clarinet dynasty of the time, that is Joseph Behrman and his son Karl, both incredible players, and they were both apparently incredible cooks as well, and Mendelssohn was so taken with their cooking, particularly their pastry making, that he offered to write them a piece for two clarinets and orchestra in exchange for a hearty meal filled with dumplings and strudel. And so, of course, they took him up on this offer, and apparently as they were cooking, he was composing, he loved the meal, and they loved the piece, and so later on they decided to repeat this procedure, and Mendelssohn wrote an even better piece, his second Concertstück for two clarinets, and that's what we're going to be performing this afternoon, courtesy of Linda Craig and Gordon Craig, our fantastic clarinet section. And moving on to the incredible middle movement of Jacques Too's Bassoon Concerto, which will no doubt be spectacularly played by our very own Ben Glossop, principal bassoon of your Kingston Symphony Orchestra. Now, Jacques Too is one of my very favorite Canadian composers. He writes such lyrical and lovely music, and it provokes an emotional response, and it's actually also thought-provoking as well. So Jacques Too was one of those composers who I feel really was in a class all of his own, and that's why I like him so much and why he's one of my very favorite Canadian composers. And this bassoon concerto shows him at the very peak of his compositional mastery. Just the colors are incredible, and the melodic lines are really like nothing else that was written in that particular time period. Jacques Too definitely stood alone, and so it's going to be a real treat to hear Ben perform this wonderful piece. And against my better judgment, I am going to be appearing as a soloist performing Ne Rosaro's Marimba Concerto, and this is actually the most popular marimba concerto yet written. It's really a tricky thing. It's a fabulous piece of music that's based on all sorts of Brazilian rhythms, dances, and harmonies, and it's an awful lot of fun to play and to listen to. And for those of you who aren't familiar with what a marimba is, it is actually a glorious instrument that is essentially a very large xylophone. And it has all the high notes that a xylophone has, but it goes down into the register as low as the cello. In fact, the marimba and the cello have nearly identical ranges. And because this is almost certainly a piece that you've never heard before, I'm going to whet your appetite with just a taste of the opening movement of Rosaro's Concerto for Marimba and Orchestra. Here we go. And in the second half, last but certainly not least, we're going to be performing Mendelssohn's Fourth Symphony, the Italian Symphony, which for me is the most incredible piece of orchestral music he ever wrote. It's really extraordinary. It's just a lot of fun. It's flighty, it's fascinating, it's full of fireworks, and it's really virtuosic for the entire orchestra. The strings have a ton to play, the winds and brass have a ton to play, and there's even a very interesting timpani part. So it's a worthy orchestral piece to close off this feature of all of the talent in your Kingston Symphony Orchestra. And if you've never heard the Italian Symphony before, boy, are you ever in for a treat. From the downbeat, it starts off with an extraordinarily energized and lively dance, and from that point on, it never lets up. This is an amazing piece of music, again, a true masterpiece, and a perfectly fitting finale for this concert. Here's how it begins. So for this week, that's What's On. A big thank you to our friends at Templeman Meninga for being the What's On podcast sponsor. If you'd like to learn more about this program or any of the other concerts the Kingston Symphony performs, then browse to kingstonsymphony.on.ca. Purchasing tickets couldn't be easier. You can just give us a call at 613-530-2050 and speak with one of our wonderful customer service representatives, or you can browse to kingstonsymphony.on.ca. For the Kingston Symphony Orchestra, I'm Evan Mitchell, and I'll see you at the concert.